just in terms of his style of play is so exciting. And it's funny, Craig mentioned the home game where Liverpool won. There's also an away game where we very much didn't, where he in particular just sort of took us apart, Josh. And that's what, I remember when I sort of think of him playing, and he's still so young as well. He's 23, and there's some stuff about this transfer, well, this potential transfer, that doesn't make much sense, like his position, but there's loads of things that it feels such a Edwards move, which is the age profile, the fact that, he is seemingly sort of available because there's a bit of a contract impasse, another club coming in to sort of force our hand. But it all feels like that, but his best years are ahead of him, and the idea of those at Liverpool is so exciting.
Yeah, it's also quite old school Liverpool move in the sense, isn't it? Of like, lad plays very well against us, lad gets signed. I love him for loads of the reasons that Craig was saying there. In the Euros, he was a part of that Georgia team that really sort of like, they were probably the people's champs, really, weren't they? That Georgia team, and they were so.
Well, they were lucky because they got Spain in the last 16.
Exactly.
And I reckon if they'd have got like pretty much anyone else, they'd have had a good chance.
They've gone even further, yeah. And one of the things that was most admirable about that team really was the explosivity and their ability to just have so much pace on the counter attack in particular. And it felt like Kvaratskhelia really led in that part of it as well. Like he was the one who was always bombing forward. He's always the one who was sort of closest in and around the box by the time that they were in an attacking sense. So there's so much to like about him. I think I guess like if I was to express any concerns about it, and it's good problems to have ultimately. And it's not my headache to solve. It's Arne Slot's at the end of the day, but it's another lad who's generally playing off the left who's coming into the front three when I think we're pretty well stocked in terms of Cody Gakpo, Luis Diaz, and I think you could probably argue it's Darwin Núñez's best position since he's not really had much success down the middle. So I'll be interested to see if he does sign the way that would work out. But again, to echo what Craig said before, like in terms of a name to get you excited, he's one of the best in European football, and one of the biggest names in European football, and one of the most exciting, pacey, explosive wingers around.
Yeah, and it feels sort of doable as well, Craig, in that you look at it, apparently the talk is around €80 million, which, listen, isn't cheap, but, I think the talk was 100 plus, a year or so ago. Obviously, his contract is it's got a little bit left on it, but if he indicated he's not signing another one, he wants to sort of move on, then that will bring that down a little bit. It's PSG who are in for him, who, listen, are a big club, but they're not playing in the same league as what we are. And generally speaking, for footballers, the Premier League is a more attractive proposition than the French league is. I think that is sort of fair to say. Liverpool are playing so well at the moment that it must be sort of catching eyes how well we're doing in the league, how well we're doing in the Champions League. He'll have played at Anfield, so he'll know what that's like. And that was a massive factor for other players. Alisson and Salah have spoke about, others, not Salah, sorry, Alisson has spoken about sort of coming to Anfield and what that experience was like and wanting part of it, and I know others have in the past as well. And so, not to sort of talk down PSG because they are a big club and obviously they can pay well, but I'd back Liverpool as an offer against that for all those reasons and more. And he gets to see you.
Yeah.
Go on, wee man.
I agree. I think any player around Europe looking at what Liverpool have done over the past 7 years with the previous manager, but now what they look as if they could possibly do is it's massively attractive. Look, Liverpool are a huge name. That doesn't need to be said. I think there's a few different interesting things about what you said there. I think you're right in terms of the Michael Edwards signing. Like Richard Hughes used the word opportunistic, and there were a couple of like murmurs in the summer about him, about Liverpool being interested. No one sort of from the sort of main patch, and certainly not Orange team, but there was a little bit of talk, and I think now, given the fact that it seems as if he is going to leave, it seems like Napoli are happy to take the money, and it feels like Liverpool are ready to pounce. It might have been one where they were looking at it and thinking he's a target in the summer, but it's been brought forward because of PSG. I think for the player as well, it's not just Liverpool in aim, it's not just the team that you'll be watching at the moment. I think there's plenty of examples where players have come and we've signed them at that sweet spot, but then they've come and we've helped elevate their entire game. He'll be looking at someone like Salah, who comes from Serie A and was posting better numbers, but was playing slightly different position. And how we are the we are part of sort of taking him to another level and giving him the opportunities to flourish on a bigger level. You know, you'd be looking at Liverpool and thinking, well, they're favourites for the Champions League, so they're surely going to go far here. You know, they're 6 points clear in the Premier League, so you know there's an opportunity to win a league here in his first 6 months. But as a player and on a personal basis, they'd be looking around him and going, well, Liverpool have taken these footballers from here who they've signed at a particular level and they've elevated them to worldwide stars and some of the best in the world. And look, there's an opportunity, we don't want to say it, but there's an opportunity where, you know, Mohamed Salah maybe leaves Liverpool at the end of the season, and we need a new Salah. We need someone else that's going to sort of step up and take the mantra and you know, he'd be looking at it and believing in himself that it can be him.